Imagine working alone in your laboratory late at night. The room is dark. You've covered your equipment with black cardboard so no light can escape. And then, from across the room, something glows. Something that shouldn't be glowing. You look around. You check your equipment. Everything is sealed. Everything is covered. And yet, there it is. A faint, mysterious light dancing on a screen several feet away. This is not a ghost story. This is not science fiction. This happened on the night of November 8th, 1895, and what Wilhelm Röntgen saw in that dark room would change medicine forever. Wilhelm Conrad Röntgen was born on the 27th of March, 1845, in Lennep, Prussia, a small town in what is now Germany. When he was just 3 years old, his family relocated to the Netherlands. He was not a flashy man, not a showman. He rarely appeared at scientific conferences, almost never promoted his work outside of his field, and had little time for publicity. He was the kind of scientist who preferred the quiet company of his laboratory to the noise of the world outside. By 1895, Röntgen was working as a professor of physics at the University of Würzburg in Germany, conducting experiments with a device called a Crookes tube, a glass vacuum tube used to study cathode rays. Scientists all across Europe were obsessed with these tubes. They produced a brilliant, almost magical fluorescent glow when electricity passed through them, and nobody could fully explain why. Röntgen wanted answers, but he was not looking for X-rays. He had no idea X-rays even existed. Nobody did. On that November evening in 1895, Röntgen was testing whether cathode rays could pass through glass. His cathode tube was covered in heavy black paper to block out all visible light. As he passed an electric charge through the tube, he confirmed the cover was light-tight and turned to prepare for the next step of his experiment. It was at that exact moment that he noticed a faint shimmering from a bench a few feet away. He stopped. He tried the discharge again. The shimmer appeared again. He struck a match and looked closer. The glow was coming from a barium platino cyanide screen he'd been planning to use later in a completely different experiment. Something invisible had travelled across the room, passed through the cardboard, and lit up that screen. But what? Even Röntgen himself initially believed he might be a victim of deception. He questioned his own eyes. He repeated the experiment again and again, and every single time, the glow returned. Röntgen didn't leave his laboratory for weeks. He ate there. He slept there. His wife grew worried. When she asked what he was doing, he reportedly told her that if people found out, they would say he had gone mad. Over those weeks, Röntgen ran experiment after experiment. He placed various objects in the path of the rays, a thick book, a double pack of cards, wooden boards, rubber sheets, and the rays passed right through all of them, lighting up the coated screen on the other side. Then came the moment that would make history. Röntgen observed that the rays also penetrated flesh, allowing him to see the shadow of his own bones. He was looking at his own skeleton, while still alive. He then called in his wife, Anna Bertha. About 6 weeks after his initial discovery, Röntgen took an image using X-rays of his wife's hand. When she saw the developed photograph, her finger bones and wedding ring clearly visible, she exclaimed, "I have seen my death." It was the first X-ray photograph of a human body ever taken, and the world would never be the same. Röntgen knew immediately he had to share this with the scientific community. Over Christmas 1895, he wrote a 10-page article titled On a New Kind of Rays, which was accepted for publication on the 28th of December. He named them X-rays, using the mathematical symbol X, meaning something unknown. The world first learned of the discovery not through the scientific community, but through the press, and the reaction was immediate and electric. Newspapers reported that a German professor had photographed the bones of a living human hand. Scientists were baffled. The public was thrilled. Some people were terrified. Within months, medical professionals were already using X-rays to locate bullets inside wounded soldiers and diagnose bone fractures without cutting a single person open. What had taken surgeons hours of dangerous, painful guesswork could now be done in minutes. And Röntgen? He refused to patent his discovery, stating that his invention belonged to the world. He wanted no financial gain from it. He simply wanted humanity to benefit. In 1901, Röntgen received the very first Nobel Prize in Physics ever awarded. He accepted it quietly. He declined to give a Nobel lecture, and he donated the prize money to his university. Today, X-rays underpin some of the most important tools in modern medicine: CT scans, mammograms, airport security scanners, and even the telescopes we use to study distant galaxies. Every airport security scanner, every dental image, every astronomical observatory detecting X-ray emissions from distant stars owes its existence to that one quiet evening in Würzburg. A man, alone in a dark room, chasing a glow he couldn't explain. Not looking for glory, not trying to change the world, just curious. That is the story of the X-ray, and that is the power of science. If you found this story fascinating, subscribe for more stories of the accidental, the unexpected, and the world-changing moments hidden inside medical history. I'll see you in the next one.